It's been a while. What is up? How are you guys doing today? It's your boy Remmorii, and we're back with another video. I think it's so good to adopt a mentality of thinking that life is always working in your favor, that in your world, nothing can ever go wrong. Everything's just going according to plan. I know bad things happen, and it's so hard to be like, hey, bad things are happening, but you should still be positive. I find that so hard to do. Sometimes it can feel like a war going on between the negative part of you and the positive part of you. The part of you that always wants more and wants to do good and wants to be good. And there's a part of you that's just kind of tired and fed up. And like, I get it. And it's like, how when you're in like a negative state of being, do you think in a way that encourages positivity? And I know I talk about positivity a lot, and because that's something that I'm trying to really implement on a day-to-day basis of framing my thoughts and the current situation of life that I'm in and all these little things that happen. And it's very interesting because I think whenever we're going through troubles or challenges or anything, we kind of think that, hey, if this thing was just over, life would be great. But if you look back at your life, there's never been a point in time where everything's been all fine and dandy. And if it has, it's been for like 5 seconds, which is great. But as I was talking about in a previous video, we don't appreciate that. But that's not what this video is about. This video is more about how to tangibly focus on the good and only feed the good and to look for the good in the situation. For example, recently I drove to work and I was driving and I got to work, everything was fine and dandy, didn't think anything of it. And I backed my car into the parking spot and I pulled my handbrake. I have a manual car, so I have a handbrake. I have to pull it to make sure the car doesn't move. And I pulled the handbrake and my armrest was in the way. So I pushed the armrest back and then I pulled the handbrake and the handbrake broke. How am I supposed to park my car now? It's just gonna roll. Anyways, long story short, I ended up going to the mechanic to get it repaired, and they told me that one of the ball joint for my wheel was loose. And had I kept driving for a long period of time, my wheel could have flown off and hit somebody. I could have been gravely injured. The damage to my car would have been catastrophic. But in that moment, all I said was, "Are you kidding me?" When my handbrake broke. I was so mad. I was like, this is not what I needed. But it's interesting because I think throughout the journey and whenever I drive my car, I see the engine light. I'm like, oh, I hope something bad doesn't happen. Oh, I hope something bad doesn't happen. Oh, I hope something bad doesn't happen. Instead of thinking, I'm glad that my car is working. I'm glad that I can get from point A to point B safely. Moral of the story is, had a bad situation not happened, I would have never known that something even worse, according to the mechanic, was going on with my car. You know what's so interesting? I feel like we think that the current struggle that we're in is like life defining. Like there's no point that's ever going to be better. Like we're just so focused in the now of this sucks and this is horrible that we don't often think about our future self or like how minuscule this situation will appear in the future. We just kind of think like, oh, this is the end. Like my world is crashing and burning. The sky is falling. Like it's Armageddon right now. And it's so interesting how our minds go straight to worst case scenario. Oh, they didn't text me back. They hate me. One thing that I've been trying to implement in my relationship is trying to think that my partner always has the best intention for me, even when I feel hurt. They're not actively going out of their way to try to hurt me or to make my life miserable. And if our partner is all about love, and life is all about love because love is life, and that's how we all came into this world, through love, then why don't we assume that life is also working out for us in the best way possible? All the bad and negative things that are happening, our learning moments, our teaching moments, are moments to try to remind ourselves that life is trying to speak to us and life is trying to talk to us. It's funny because in the story about the car and the handbrake, that morning, I was lying in bed and I was like, oh, I don't want to go to the office today. I don't need to go to the office today. We're just going to do nothing. But, oh, I already said that I was going to go and I don't want to let people down. So there's two things that's like, in that moment, my handbrake broke out and I was like, are you kidding me? I was like, I should have listened to myself. And then I thought, wait, if I listened to myself, then the next time I drove, things could have been worse. So it's like, it was very interesting because at first I wanted to beat up on myself. And then I was also grateful that this situation allowed me to do something I've been putting off, of getting my car checked out. I'm trying to like employ gratitude in those situations of like life's not out to get us. Like we didn't do anything bad to life for it to have a vendetta against us and try to make everything go horrible. And it's like when things go good, we're so appreciative. Wow, life's working in my favor. I'm so happy. Everything's so great. And when things are bad, it's like, oh, I hate life. Life sucks, blah, blah, blah. And imagine if that was a friend. Imagine if the way you talk to life in your head is the same way you talk to your friend. When they do good, you think of them good. But when they do bad, you berate them. It's almost interesting. That's similar to the way that we talk to ourselves. At least I do, and I'm trying to work on like trying to still see the good in myself even when I make a mistake. I'm allowed to make mistakes, but I think how to improve the relationship with yourself is very important to ensure that you're very kind to yourself and you allow yourself and give yourself the grace to be like, you didn't make a mistake. This was a learning opportunity. Like you didn't know, and that's not your fault. So don't be mad at yourself for not knowing something you were supposed to know. Like it doesn't make sense. And like on the same vein, on the opposite side, it's like when you do good, like be happy for yourself. Like, yeah, I killed it. Like, look where I am. I'm so happy. Really dwell in that happiness state. And it's very helpful to be able to see how good life is when you're focused on the good. And that's what I've been trying to do throughout the negativity. And I talked in my last video about the importance of seeing negativity as a tool. Like every moment of negativity is an opportunity to shift into positivity. And I know like you're watching this, right? And you're like, it's a lot easier saying it than it actually sounds. Like when you're mad and your emotions are riled, like how do you switch from being negative to positive? It's not a simple, oh, okay, I'm all positive now, life's good. It's like, it's a conversation that has to go on in your head of like, I understand that how I feel is valid. I'm not trying to invalidate my feelings, but I just want to understand what life is trying to tell me right now. And every negative emotion is an opportunity to shift your thinking towards positivity. Because inherently, nothing is good or bad, like that car situation. At first glance, when I'm like, are you kidding me? That's bad. I go to the mechanic and he tells me this could have been worse. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's good. These practices, just like anything else, when you're going to the gym, when you're meditating, when you're putting up shots, when you're working on your creative practice, the practice isn't easy. You have days of flow. You have days where everything's clicking. But you also have days where it's hard to get up. You also have days where you don't feel like going. You have days when it's rough in the road. You're in the valley instead of the peak. And it's like that's part of the practice. It's about showing up. And that's why life provides these opposite spectrums for you to practice and for you to be able to experience a negative. And it's kind of cool because that's an experience. And I was thinking like all the times that my car has had problems are opportunities that I've learned more about my car. Every single one, I've learned something new about my car every time my car's had a problem with it. Like, yeah, it sucked, but I got something out of it. And that's what life's about, like experiencing things and being able to pull from your experience to help other people. Now, if somebody else has a similar problem, I have information to provide with them and share with them. That's why I love making these videos, because the things that I experience in life, it doesn't feel right for me to hold on to it. And I want to be able to share it with just more than the people around me. One of my friends that I used to shoot music videos with taught me about it. He gave me advice. He talked about lighting when we were on set and different things. And I'm like, yo, I want to record. I want to make videos. Because everybody's busy, everybody's doing their lives. I'm like, I want to be able to do this whenever I can. I want to learn how to edit. I love art so much. I want to be able to learn the art or the craft of photography and videography to be able to communicate my message in an engaging and interesting way. I like to think of us all as mosaics. We are all combination of everybody that's ever influenced us, talked to us, made us laugh, made us cry. Our emotional landscape is made up of everybody we've ever interacted with. And I think that's crazy. Needless to say, this journey isn't supposed to be easy. It's supposed to be fulfilling. It's supposed to be enriching. It's supposed to be enlivening. It's supposed to be encouraging. It's supposed to be inspiring. It's supposed to be invigorating. That's what this journey is about. It's not about sunshines and rainbows all the time. How do you get a rainbow without rain? Anyways, I hope this resonated with you. If you guys have anything that you would want me to talk about or share my insight on, or if you had any questions, please leave comments below. Like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff. It's great to see you again. See you guys next week. Peace.